And I don't think the outside world gave Kevin enough credit. I think if you came within our organization, Kevin was given all the credit. Because quite frankly, Steph Curry doesn't care. Like, he would have never opened the door to his home to you if he did care. Because guess what we know? We know Kevin Durant is absolutely incredible. We know Kevin Durant is a superstar. So if I open my home to you, I'm already accepting the fact that I'm sharing my light with you. I'm sharing my stage with you. Clearly, it's totally fine. And I think for us within the organization, we did everything we could to make Kevin comfortable. We did everything we could to let him know, just like this is our home, this is your home too, brother. But the outside world didn't. The outside world, he's joining a team that won 73 games. He's joining a team that already won a championship and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is I don't think that team wins another championship if Kevin doesn't come. Now, you may say, oh, yeah, but y'all won the fourth one without Kevin. But there's a gap in there where teams started to figure us out. And
would you guys have beat Houston those 2 years without Kevin?
Yeah, we was beating them for sure. So, kidding me? That team was never going to beat us. It just was not going to happen.
What about the Cavs then?
We would not have beat the Cavs coming back around without Kevin. And here's why. Teams have figured us out. And I personally don't think at that point Steph Curry had figured out I'm going to get a bucket whenever I want to. I don't think he was capable of that yet. I think he was still growing into that. And so because of that, once teams started to figure our offense out, we were starting to struggle more and more. I'm not sure if you remember that series of OKC where we were down 3-1 and we had to come back. And that's because teams had started to figure it out. And so what then in turn ended up happening was Steph still creates all the havoc that he fucking creates. Like I tweeted, Steph faced so many double teams and Kevin didn't. That's a fact. Like, you can go look at the numbers or just watch the game if you can analyze the game better than Skip Bayless. And if you watch the game, then you see that Steph's getting double teamed. And Ty Lue then goes publicly and say, I'm double teaming Steph Curry every chance I get. Kevin wasn't getting double teamed. But the reality is we got to a point where we needed to be able to give someone the ball that can just go get a bucket. And Kevin was already there. I don't think Steph was there yet. So it gets us through those 2 years. We get those 2 championships. But while we're doing that, Steph is continuing to work and evolving. And most importantly, becoming the strongest dude on our team. And to this day, he's the strongest guy on the team. And that allowed him to score whenever he wanted because you can no longer bump him off his path. Like, I think about the drive against Al Horford when he was picking on Al Horford in the fourth quarter of Game 6. You think about the drive that he had where he boom, 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 and then he just drove. Al Horford's riding his hip, and he just lays the ball up. Normally, Al Horford would bump him off his path, and he's ended up shooting a runner. He couldn't bump him off his path. And that's where Steph turned the corner and he became unstoppable. And now we're able to continue winning championships because he's unstoppable.
And you think that process started while Kevin was there or after Kevin left?
I think it definitely started when Kevin was there because in 2019 was when Steph really locked in on the weight room. And so that's where he kind of starts taking that bump and kind of bumping it up a little bit. And although it didn't show immediately because then 2020 we were terrible and he broke his hand, you started to see in 2021 we were still terrible, but Steph was carrying us and he carried us to a play-in game and we didn't get past it. It was probably great because we would have got swept and that would have been the first series we ever got swept. So thank God we didn't make it. But I think you started to see it then, that growth and like, oh man, nobody can stop this dude now. And I think that really changed the complexity of our organization. And I'm pretty certain that's why we'll win 3 of the next 4 NBA championships.
I wanted to ask you about Game 6. What is it like, the 21-0 run in particular? What is it like to suck the life out of an opposing arena in a closeout game?
Oh my God. There's no better feeling than going into an opposing team's gym and quieting the crowd. But let me rephrase that. There used to be no better feeling than going into an opposing team's arena and quieting the crowd. But quieting those fucks, that took the cake because they were so loud games 3, and then game 4 they got humbled, but they were so loud. And then coming into game 6, like you just knew. Coming into game 6, they tried to get a "Let's go Celtics" chant going in the warm-ups. And they might as well have been in a G League gym. Because the sound of it was like, are they cheering? Like, they stopped the music. And they did this a couple games before. And, like, they stopped the music. And it's like, oh, my God, it's loud in here. But, like, they tried